Okay, I'm not showing who I'm voting for at all tonight, really. Yeah. Hang on, where you go?
Thank you. The judges have been a bit absorbed by some of those orange vests there. Pay no attention to my new accessory either, but do pay attention to this next team. Productivity, the issue of our time. How might we unlock Tamaki Makoto's potential? Our last team of the night, please welcome Team Pink.
Every morning, Monday through Friday, I drive from Papakura to Burdamant. It takes me over an hour in the morning and another hour in the evening. That's 2 hours a day gone. Sitting in traffic, staring at brake lights and indicators. Now look, I try podcasts, I might make a few calls, I'll try my hand at a bit of carpool karaoke, but let's be honest, these hours are wasted. By the time I get to work, I'm overstimulated, I'm usually stressed, and my workday hasn't even begun. Now, this isn't just my story. This is the reality for thousands of Aucklanders every single day.
And just like Sam, over half of Aucklanders drive to work every day, and that's where our productivity problem begins. Urban sprawl causes longer commutes, which eat into our productive time. It increases living costs and breaks our labor market. Auckland is supposed to be the economic engine of New Zealand, but the truth is, our productivity is stalling. And as Jaffas, it's not so proud to have our productivity following behind Wellington. And if this is the culture of the blues, we would have fired him by now. As a city, we are working hard, but are we working smart? Our commutes are the perfect example of that.
Productivity runs deep. It's a symphony of elements, each with its own complexity. On speaking with a number of Aucklanders and business leaders, the one challenge that came up time and again, the traffic, the congestion, the wasted hours, the daily grind. I started to think, what if my commute time wasn't wasted? What if instead of sitting there in traffic, I was already working? Until the autonomous vehicles are introduced in Auckland, I can't finish that report, I can't clear my inbox, or I can't prep for my morning meetings while I'm still on the road because the commute time remains idle. Oh, looking at the slide, you all must be wondering if I'm dreaming of flying to work. Well, I'm not saying I'll fly to work, but my productive time might. This is why it's important for us to transform commute time into productive time. And that's where Commute Plus comes in. We are team productivity.
Commute Plus offers a suite of innovative solutions, meticulously designed to empower commuters, enhance productivity, and unlock a new realm of billable hours. Commute Plus isn't merely a concept. It's a revolution in how we perceive and utilize our daily journeys. Imagine stepping onto your daily train in the morning and walking into a dedicated workspace. Not a cramped carriage, but one fitted with comfortable desks, reliable Wi-Fi, privacy partitions, and ample power outlets. It feels less like public transport, but more like a mobile co-working hub. This transformation enables a legitimate extension of your workday. For professionals, it means arriving at the workplace ready to go. Emails answered, meetings prepared, reports drafted, or even finishing earlier. And for employers, it unlocks new billable time, improves productivity. And for the city, it makes public transport a far more attractive option, reduces congestion, and creates a smarter, more efficient workforce. Commute Plus isn't about reinventing the wheels, it's about shifting the ride.
And we're realistic. We're not talking about refitting every train tomorrow. The plan is simple. One carriage per train on the highest demand lines. We pilot it, we measure the uptake, we get feedback from the employers, and we look at the impact it has on our motorways. With validation and fine-tuning, then we expand. More carriages, more lines, more products. Buses, ferries, terminal lounges. More Aucklanders turning dead time into productive time.
We've all heard it before. Auckland needs to do more with what we've got. It's why we've made sure that our solution works with our current train fleet. And we've spoken to Auckland Transport. They think the solution would cost around $50,000 to implement per train. However, we have an opportunity. Some of our earliest fleet are due for midlife renewal next year. If we chose to install our solution during this time, the cost would be even lower. Now, we acknowledge that that's ratepayer money. So what will this actually do for Auckland? For commuters, Commute Plus is a bespoke solution conducive to being productive. It lets you start your day from minute one. As Aucklanders, you'll generate on average $75 for every hour that you work. And with 4.5 million train trips a year over 30 minutes, we're talking about millions in untapped potential. And for Auckland Transport, to dare is to do. This is your chance to introduce an innovative new solution on our network. Public transport amenities are a proven way to increase ridership. And Commute Plus would only need to retain a 3.5% increase annually for 5 years to be financially viable. At that point, it's a no-brainer.
Now, I want to paint a picture of what it would look like if we got this solution right. If our pilot takes off and we get to expand and scale. Commute is no longer an inconvenience that you have to get through in order to start your day. With public transport now essentially being a second workplace, it unlocks new ways that we think of working. Not only am I now able to clear that backlog of work that's always sitting at the back of my mind, I can now consider logging this time as hours to my workday. Now that I know Commute Plus has given me a space that accommodates all of my working needs and sets me up for productivity. And with commute no longer being considered an obstacle to my day, I might even come into the office a bit more. I might even come into the office and maybe even outside of peak hours, because I know that commute no longer interrupts my workday or kills my momentum. And the benefits go beyond just you and me. For our city, we could see less congestion on the roads, freeing up space for freight, essential travel, and emergency services. This enables us to use our current infrastructure smarter and unlocks our potential for productivity.
Our productivity challenge is complex, and it's also a lived experience that we have every morning, every evening, and every day. Every minute that we're stuck in traffic is a minute that we can grow, that we can innovate, that we can create. Cities that totally invested in public transport has seen this paid off. Less traffic, less congestion, and more connection, and higher productivity. Commute Plus can do exactly that. It turns our idle commute time into productive work time. It transforms our car carriages into a comfortable work environment that is built for success. We already know that quite a lot of you value smarter commute, and many of you have uptaken the new policy, Fair Share, where you subsidize your employees' public transport journey. Commute Plus is a natural next step to get your people not just into work, but ready and work. We have the infrastructure, we have the talent, and now we need the will and the attitude. So we're calling on Auckland Council, NZTA, Auckland Transport, our enterprise leaders, and everyone here to trial and join us with Commute Plus. Let's stop wasting time. Let's start reclaiming it and move Auckland forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and thanks for your energy. And I think, Simon, it's true to say we might be joined at the hip on this one. And I certainly don't need the Mayor to be any more exercised, so thank you for turning your attention to this. I did have you referenced in the longer term the impact on farebox revenue. Question, given most of us have probably travelled in the UK in trains where they differentiate the offer and the cost is apportioned differently based on this, workstation technology being available in some carriages, not others. If you follow me, have you considered the opportunity or the practicality of doing that in Auckland?
I think it's definitely something to consider. We had a big think about how we'd manage what we'd call a Commute Plus carriage in terms of how do we actually make sure the people in there are actually there to be working. The thing we kept coming back to is that Auckland Transport already has enough of a problem of getting people to pay fees as is, and we think that adding an extra layer on top of that is just not viable at this time. We also want this to be a solution for everyone. We don't want it to be a premium product. It should just be part of your natural commute.
The last time I took a train, it was absolutely packed, standing room only. And what you've talked about in terms of retrofit just raises the question with me around capacity. And have you looked at the revenue lost by essentially having less people in one carriage rather than adding a carriage specifically for this?
Definitely we have. It's one thing we do consider with this solution is that it is going to be a cost to Auckland. However, what I want to say is that we've got City Rail Link coming in. This is our big opportunity to introduce a solution like this. Auckland may not see another opportunity like this for many, many years. City Rail Link is going to increase trains on the network. It's going to increase the size of carriages. Eventually we'll move to 9-car carriages. And it's going to increase the amount of people taking the train anyway. We will be losing some of that additional gain. Obviously there's a cost to this, and we estimate that this could cost, in a worst case scenario, $1 million a year just to maintain the kind of workstations with cleaning and maintenance. But again, we think City Rail Link's our time to be bold. It's our time to really deal with an innovative solution.
Yeah, just following up on Logan's point, I think that's something we all asked internally and we really wanted to make sure we had this right. It seems a little counterintuitive that the productivity group is going to take seats off trains. And I think what we've found from what we've heard from commuters is that it's pretty rare that a 6-carriage train will be packed in the mornings and in the evenings. A lot of those 3-carriage trains for sure. But as we say, with that City Rail Link opportunity, Auckland Transport are looking to go to just 6 and 9-carriage trains. So we think, yes, we will reduce a small number of seats by implementing these retrofitted carriages, but with the addition of the consistent 6 and 9-carriage trains, that should outweigh it.
I think we've got, oh goodness me, a couple of enthusiastic questions out in the audience. You got something as I walk over, Molly?
I do. Amanda asks, how do you reserve the fitted out carriage for professionals rather than having it full of school kids?
That's a great point. You know, we get a lot of students riding into Britomart every day, and I think it's similar to making sure that people are behaving on the train. You know, we do have staff on our trains to monitor it, and look, for the most part, as it won't be an exclusive carriage or a membership just yet in this pilot stage, that is on the staff and on the train riders to essentially handle that themselves, and we'd hope that, the people would look after each other. But I think further down the track, we'd love to look at a membership option, or how do we make sure that the people in that carriage are making the most out of their time on the train. So we'd love to collaborate moving forward after the pilot stage with Auckland Transport on that, for sure.
Can I just add one thing on that? We've recently introduced bike carriages on trains, and I think you can ask a similar question to how do you stop everyday commuters from taking up those spaces? And the answer is clear signage and making it really visible, and then hoping that kind of natural human instinct takes over.
That's a perfect segue to my question. I think they were great challenges and well done. I think, are they the last team of the night? Yep, so a big round of applause to all of you. And also, what needs to be true to turn some of those amazing, curious challenges into, well, what if? So, for example, that could be an incubator moment for businesses. That could be a pop-up moment. Like, there's business benefit in that. So, not so much a question, but have a reframe of what you're describing and going, hey guys, there's money in this in the water cooler moments, and that is really attractive to businesses.
Yeah, thank you very much for that. And I think what I would like to say, as much as our solution is retrofitting carriages on a train, I think our deeper solution is starting to shift Aucklanders' perspectives on why have we normalized these ginormous commute times? How can we change that perception of driving is the only way to get somewhere? So I think just touching on that, that's awesome. And that's what we want to look at, is that mindset shift. Maybe it's not Commute Plus, but how do we start to make each other think differently about this? So thank you.
Kia ora team. Just want to say congratulations on your pitch. I'll just move over here. Just with your pitch, have you researched around company policies, in particular for large organisations that don't allow the use of phones in work vehicles and the use of for instance, using Teams in work vehicles? I think that's a market that you could look at. And then also for those who are travelling to Auckland. For instance, for myself, I'm from Tauranga Moana. If I travel to Tauranga Moana, there's only two means of travelling here, is via the use of a car or via plane. And I'm always wanting to jump onto Teams. So I think there's a potential market there around looking at those individuals or those policies that are integrated into organisations where you can't actually use your phones while driving. Kia ora.
Kia ora, thank you.
I don't think there's a question there. I just think it's kind of an endorsement by the sounds of things. But all right, Molly, anything from your end, or we'll wrap up?
Well, if we've got time, I can ask one more question. It's kind of related to that one. Public organisations have strong security advising employees against working in public spaces. How would you address security risk?
Yeah, that's oh, Leo, you want to go?
Yeah, so that's like people already been working on the public cafes, Starbucks, so they've already been working on that. And company policies, they can be controlled by the company rules and for the networking access. So it shouldn't be controlled by the public access of network. And this is why we kind of like, we had kind of a whole solution of ecosystem saying, okay, if we have the uptake, if we have this idea right, we should have an ecosystem rather than just the carriage. We should have a safer connectivity on the train, even in the train stations, to provide a more secure Wi-Fi connection. But that's all based on how we perform on this carriage as a pilot.
Nice, thank you.
Commute Plus. Well done, team. Fantastic. I'm not going to push off stage. Oh, one hand, Pauline. You okay? Yeah. Great. Oh, that's a spare one. I've got one now.
We've both got one now.
Yeah.